Do y'all think that the better team won, or was this just a bad game?
They got a cloud hanging over their head.
You execute when you're supposed to execute, and we didn't do that. They were the better team in that game.
What is up, everybody? Week 1 is in the books, and there were some interesting games. There were some games that went the way that we thought they would. There are some games that went the way we didn't think that they would. But here to talk about it are two of the best co-hosts in all the land. Matt, let's start off with you, sir. What are you jotting down there on your notepad?
Listen, I'm writing some notes. You know, this. Oh, you can't see it. This is my little field notes. My wife likes to make fun of me because I carry this in my pocket all the time. Now I'm trying to go a little less digital, but yeah. I took some notes. And if you are Caleb DeBoer, if you are Bill Belichick, if you are any of those individuals, I got a note for you. Look at this. Oh, you can't see it because it's not showing up. It kills the bit.
Okay, I see it. I saw it for just a second.
It says send help. Everything's on fire unless you're a Tennessee fan, and then we're A-okay. But if you're a Bama fan, if you're an NC fan, if you are just a fan in general, a lot of things on fire this week. You can see Jesse's already moved on to basketball season. It's week 1. That's where we are.
Jesse, talk to us.
I'm doing great, but I know Jesse has feelings.
Jesse, talk to us. How are you feeling?
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I'm not surprised at all. I had high hopes, and we'll get there and we'll talk about it. Am I just going to watch highlights of 2011 season, 2013 through 18? Probably. That sounds like a better use of a Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah, every time you guys say the words high hopes, I always think about a Goofy movie. Sorry. So, and if you're my age, you know exactly that reference. So.
Yeah, I got it, Wes. I was with you on that. If I could, Jesse, might I offer in your trying times a song by Alan Jackson called "What Might Have Been"? That'll probably make you feel a lot better. Might bring a tear to your eye.
Gotcha.
Or
maybe already there, Matt.
Maybe that's John Michael Montgomery. I might be mixing up my country. Ugh, sorry about that.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into those games, and let's go ahead and play our little stinger for that.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
All right,
so if you're 8, you could be last too.
What just happened?
Little Texas. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
Little Texas. Yep, you're right.
Little Texas.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's start off with Auburn at Baylor, which was the first SEC game that we're going to talk about. Auburn winning this one 38-24. I got the point here. I was the only one to pick Auburn. So this one was rather interesting. It was an exciting game, including a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Rayshawn Pleasant, who they said everybody's going to know his name after this, after not only, well, I was going to say after this season, but after this game, right off the bat. So Auburn with a big drive at the end of this game, a game that was kind of going back and forth, but they had a big drive at the end with a Jackson Arnold rushing touchdown with about 4.5 minutes left that sort of took the wind out of Baylor's sails. So, Jesse, what are your thoughts on Auburn at Baylor?
Auburn looked a little bit like a throwback, right? Like we're used to seeing a really pass-heavy offense across the SEC and really across football, but they took a little bit of an old school throwback approach and were a little heavy on the run, which seemed to work for them. They ran the ball early, they ran it often, and they ran it pretty well. So that, I think, is at least starting to maybe give them a little bit of an identity. We talked last week on, I didn't know who Auburn was. I didn't think Auburn knew who Auburn was. But it seems like they may be starting to get a little bit of an identity there. Their pass defense needs a little bit of work. It was struggling a little bit against Baylor. But I think if you're an Auburn fan, you've got a little bit of hope. This is a promising debut against a pretty decent Baylor team. And you needed this. At the end of last season, Hugh Freeze certainly needed this in order to kind of put some ice on his seat. But this is promising, I think, for them. Hopefully, they can take this and take this momentum, carry it forward, be onward and upward, which is hard for me to say as a Bama fan. But I think if they can continue to foster an identity on offense, work out the kinks on defense, certainly against a passing offense, I think they might have a little bit of a glimmer of hope there.
Certainly. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the run game special teams was the edge in this one. Baylor scored some points, and Baylor threw for, what was it, 419 yards in this game. So that does kind of make you worry about the secondary at Auburn. And as a Tennessee fan, we'll come back to talk about secondaries a little bit later. But the run game, 307 yards, you're averaging almost 6 yards a carry. You'll take that any day of the week you can get it. Jackson Arnold had an absolute monster day on the ground, 137 yards, averaging almost 9 yards every carry. That's a pretty good time. To do that against, I don't want to say quality opponents, but, Baylor's not a pushover. It's not like they had, North Directional State or something. So, they definitely got something done. So if you're an Auburn fan, you have to feel pretty good about that. I don't know how optimistic they're feeling, because it is Hugh Freeze, and especially after watching what Gus Malzahn did over the past weekend, you're probably thinking, what are we doing? But again, we'll talk about that momentarily. And I think it's a good win for Auburn.
They're still happy. I promise you. I haven't looked at any Auburn fans that I know, but I can tell you, because Bama lost, they are more happy about that.
Yes, they are on cloud 9 right now when it comes to that.
They're not even paying attention. Yeah, I get it. All right, let's move to Texas at Ohio State. Ohio State winning this one 14-7. Nobody got the point here. None of us picked Ohio State. This was, I think I said it during the game.
Corso picked Ohio State.
He got all his picks right,
because
apparently.
Across the board.
It got shown 30 million times.
It did. And it was full circle. First pick he ever made. So
wait. While we're on the topic of Coach Corso, let's take a moment to say thank you, Coach. We appreciate
Coach Corso.
You've done a lot for everybody. I know that we talk bad about Coach on occasion, just because it always seems like he picks against us at the right time or the wrong time or whatever you want to call it. So, but we're fans, so we're glad to see him go. So
we're fans.
Happy retirement, Coach.
I think he should have retired a couple years ago, but
probably.
That's okay.
Really enjoyed the
the
family dynamic that he and Kirk have had the past few seasons as well. So
yeah.
And also he's a big part of the just the overall machine that has generated interest in college football, and who knows, maybe even had an influence on us being able to start. So who knows. You never know. But yeah, for this game, Texas at Ohio State, I was saying this while we were watching, Matt. It's just like a pitcher's duel. Like nobody wants to score. Neither defense is willing to budge. But I also wonder if you could chalk that up to two young quarterbacks and their nerves for this one too. Not wanting to make that big mistake, which, as we all know, usually makes you make a mistake. So neither of them really lit things up on the field, but Julian Sayin did just enough for Ohio State to squeak by, and then obviously Arch with the turnover there, the interception there as well, that was not helpful for them. So Matt, let's start with you on this one. What was your take on Texas at Ohio State?
Well, just like we said, nobody wanted to score through most of this game. It wasn't until midway through the third or fourth quarter. I don't know. You didn't get a lot of scoring in this. When we were sitting there watching it, Wes, I think both of us kept saying, I did not anticipate this low of a score in this game. In retrospect, I don't know why we all picked Texas. Ohio State's coming off.
It wasn't by much. I
I
think all of us said close.
Yeah, I don't know why we all sided with Texas. It was in the shoe. It was the first. There were a lot of
the
variables.
Arch hype. We all listened to the Arch hype.
We're gonna come back and talk about that in a second. It was just a lot of back and forth. You didn't have your first score in that game until second quarter. So it took a while. Speaking of Arch is getting blamed for a lot. Now, I want to go out on the record and say that a lot of this is the overhype that we get from ESPN and other sports writers throughout the summer. It's like, oh, Arch Manning's going to win the Heisman. And, they do this every year where they pick that guy and they say that guy is going to win. And then inevitably someone's going to come out and lay a dud. And unfortunately, that was Arch. I mean, 17 for 30 for 170 yards and a TD. It's not spectacular numbers, especially when you think about how he wasn't really able to get a lot done offensively. But you can't. I don't think you can put all that on Arch. Not to mention, Texas did a pretty good job of bottling up Ohio State through most of this game. Gave up a couple of pivotal places where they should have gotten stops, weren't able to do that. Just came up just a hair short. And let's be honest here, Ohio State's defense looked pretty stout, and definitely had a hand in that. And so it's going to be very interesting how this is going to play in down the end of the year, when Ohio State can look back and go, look, we beat Texas, and they were the number one team in the nation, and what does that say about us? Like, the eye test is going to come into play on this. So we'll discuss that later too, I'm sure.
Right.
It just goes to show you that the preseason rankings mean nothing. If we learned
squat, they mean zip.
If we learned anything this week, it's that they literally don't matter. The fact that everyone's like, number one Texas. I mean, okay, cool. You could have said that Pigskins and Pageantry, number one preseason. There's nothing to butt that up against. You
There's
have
not.
no proof. It's just people being like,
It's all for
gonna
ratings.
take this gamble.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I don't think it's all on Arch. I think everyone is obviously coming hard for him. He comes with a last name. He comes with a pedigree. And most quarterbacks that were just getting their chance as a starter, there would be a little bit more grace for them, but there's not for him. And there's not going to be. You have that name, you have that hype. There's never going to be that grace. It just isn't. But like I said last week, their O-line lost a lot of people. They had 4 new starters on the O-line, and 3 of their top pass catchers are now in the NFL. So yes, did Arch absolutely just fudge it on a lot of the fundamentals? Yes, he did. He was not accurate in throws when he should have been. There were issues. I'm certainly not saying that Arch Manning does not deserve some of the blame. He absolutely does. But I think it's kind of that perfect storm where you have fresh new starters on the offensive line. You're going up against a team that's coming off of a national championship. They absolutely lost a ton of guys too, but they're at home. They're settled in a little bit more. They're coming in with that confidence. And then you have Texas going there, and they've got a new guy who's going to be their leader, and he's like 19 years old. So I think it was just a little bit of a perfect storm. But again, it's not all on Arch, and he was taking a lot of the blame personally in those post-game interviews. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. But I also think it's fascinating, and we'll get to it when we get to the Alabama game. Again, those preseason rankings don't mean anything. And the fact that it was Texas and Alabama that didn't come out on top is very interesting.
Well, they love to say, all right, this is a top 3 matchup. And to your point, like, says who? This could be number whatever versus number whatever for all we know, or
Listen,
no number.
over the weekend, they interviewed Steve, and I don't know why I ended up getting this clip when I was looking through YouTube the other day. It was Stephen A. Smith and Cam Newton on the college wrap-up show, and I'm like, this is okay, fine. So I watched it, and I know that Cam has his own thing going on, but Cam made a good point. I think it was Cam that said it. Like, we shouldn't have rankings. You don't know nothing until about week 4. Right. After you've played a couple of those crank up games, you've finally played somebody that's worth a dang. Like, where are you at? What's it look like? Did you take care of business? Did you get nuked? Like, what's? I think week 4 is where it needs to start. In fact, I would say that what we need to do at Pigskins and Pageantry is we need to come up with our own top 25 after week 4. That's an idea. Aha!
Might not be a bad segment.
Might not be.
It's also
at least top 10.
It's worth noting too, and I can't remember who said it, but I saw it somewhere. And it was some celebrity. It wasn't an athlete. But if you notice the announcers, and I think we're going to continue to notice, and once I point it out, you're not going to be able to unhear it. You no longer hear, I don't know, Ted Robinson playing for for Texas, he's their wide receiver. His major is communications, whatever. What you're hearing is Ted Robinson, number 13, Utah transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Bill Williams, I don't know, Rutgers. You're hearing so-and-so and where they transferred from. You're not hearing anything else about them. And if you start to hear how many times they say that, that just is even more evidence of it doesn't matter what you say in the preseason because none of them played here last year.
Right. And
Not a
Some of
they
them.
one played here.
they only have a certain amount of time for the intros for these players, so you can't give this whole backstory and what he's, his
I
major anymore.
mean,
Not
good
to
Lord,
mention, nobody really cares what they're going to school for, anyways. Now,
if you would have
so
done that with JT Daniels, it would have been like former Georgia, former whatever. But he did like 4 schools.
yeah, yeah. All right. So, are we done with that one, Texas? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we will talk more about Arch and a few other things in our overreaction speed round segment shortly. But first, let's get to Syracuse at Tennessee. Tennessee winning this one 45-26. Jesse got the point here. I thought Tennessee did what they needed to do here. Aguilar was impressive, and Tennessee had a good showing in week 1. Matt, what do you think?
I agree. Top to bottom, Aguilar. Listen, there's a lot of speculation, ton of speculation in the offseason with the whole Nico drama and the Aguilar drama and all the question marks at quarterback going into the first week. We were all wondering, what's it going to look like? Are you going to keep him in? Is he going to get replaced? Is he going to come out and lay an egg? And he didn't. He looked really good. He came out. He was very cool, very calm, very collected in the pocket. There were a couple times where he would get flushed and have to. And on one of the touchdowns he threw, just a laser beam rolls out, kind of steps up in the pocket, rolls to the left, and kind of directs traffic, gets a guy in the end zone for a touchdown. Great play. Just overall really good play. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that he looks more comfortable, and he seems to have more trust than Nico did last season. Maybe it's an experience thing. I mean, Aguilar has been to like 6 different schools. He's a journeyman when it comes to the quarterback position. But, maybe Tennessee got the better end of that deal. If you're a Tennessee fan, you probably spent late night watching some pack action or Big Ten action, whatever it is now that UCLA's in. And Nico didn't have a great night for UCLA. And there were a lot of Tennessee fans, including our friends over at SEC Shorts, that definitely kind of saw that it might look like Tennessee got the better end of that deal as far as Nico goes. But I'm super excited. He had a really big, long 73-yard bomb during that game. It was a beautiful pass. Just fantastic time all around. The other couple points I want to make is the run game looked really solid. Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop are a nasty 1-2 punch. Both of those guys had over 75 yards on the ground. Deshaun got a touchdown. Unfortunately, Star Thomas didn't. But still, great production from the running back position. And that was another question about what Tennessee was going to look like now that we've lost our leading rusher to the NFL this past season. It's going to be, again, I'm happy. I'm not letting myself get too excited because I need to see how they're going to stack up against SEC defenses before I get really excited. My other major critique, if I had to pick something from this game that kind of worried me a bit, is our secondary. We had a couple of guys go down. One of which is an extended injury. We're not sure what that's looking like quite yet. And the secondary got diced up in a couple spots. Now, granted, the defense did a pretty good job of kind of reining it back in, and the defensive line and the linebacker core had a big part to talk about that, and I'll discuss that in the segment a little bit later. But, I mean, you really can't give up 15, 20 yards on third down. And, when you've got them against the wall and you got your boot on their neck and you got a chance to get them off the field and you kind of give that up. That's the only critique I have, is I did not care for the amount of chunk plays that Syracuse was able to pull out. That worries me a little bit with what we're going to see when we play Georgia, when we play, not Alabama this year apparently, but when we play Georgia, sorry, Jesse, when we play, those premier SEC offenses.
Yeah, Jesse, what was your take on Tennessee's performance here?
It seems like Tennessee decided to also get some variety in the mix, right? You had Dylan Sampson, who after him, it was like he was the guy, he was the one that carried everything. And you didn't really see them give the ball to other guys. But it looks like Heupel has decided to go a little bit like he was pre Dylan Sampson. And you saw the ball get placed around. You saw a couple guys get hands, get carries, and start to be productive for the offense. And we didn't see that a lot when Dylan Sampson was there. I mean, he was obviously great, but now it's like they're more versatile. They're moving the ball around. They're giving guys more chances, which I think is good because obviously if someone like a Dylan Sampson goes down, what do? It's like you've completely lost the run game. You don't really know who's going to step in for him. But when you're able to give it to a couple different backs, then you've got an offense that might work for you. So I think that's an interesting thing to look at if you're a Tennessee fan, is just how they're moving the ball around. They're giving guys carries that it's not just the one guy. It's not just the ace. I think Matt already touched on Aguilar, but Tennessee is certainly, I think, got high hopes. Again, I want to throw up saying that.
Something else that I want to throw at you guys, and I kind of wanted your take on this. I was digging through Twitter, so take this with a grain of salt. I was digging through Twitter, and
Don't you mean X?
Yeah, no, Twitter. I don't care what Elon says. I was digging through Twitter, and somebody had put together a list of things that basically made the statement that Nico leaving Tennessee was not Nico's decision. It was a Heupel decision, and Heupel basically told him, listen, we got Joey Aguilar coming in. I trust him more. He looks better. You need to get your stuff and go. Now, whether that's accurate or not, but when you look at the comparison on Aguilar's come in the spring, he's been in the quarterback room for less than 6 months, and he's already been given the keys, and it seems like Heupel trusts him. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but that's some interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
I don't know if that's how it went down, but I will say that I think that made it all the more easier when Nico was like, you guys need to pay me more. They were just like, forget it. It seemed like there wasn't much negotiation there. It was like, see ya.
Well, I think that Heupel knew that if you gave in there, you were going to have to give in other places, and I think
it's a
that
can
was
of worms
play a part
for
there.
sure.
I mean, it's a huge can of worms. But I'm wondering if that, I'd have to go back and look at the timeline and figure out about when Aguilar signed up with Tennessee, and I don't know. It was just interesting, just putting that out there. Not saying it's fake news,
yeah,
but just throwing that out there.
Well, Jesse, I know you said you were nauseous earlier, and I don't think this is going to help you much. We're moving to Alabama at Florida State. Florida State winning this one 31-17. Nobody got the point here. Once again, we all picked incorrectly. Listen, I'm going to keep it short and sweet here because it was just kind of baffling in two respects, mainly. And it seemed like Alabama just wasn't really able to get anything going on offense. That was one thing that was hard to reconcile because usually we'll see them struggle, but then they'll adapt, and we'll see the play calling get switched up, and then they find a groove, and and then the second thing for me is they couldn't stop Castellanos on defense at all. It's like they had nothing. Now, did he say that this was going to happen? Yeah, he said that he did not see a way that they could stop him. And I guess he was right because it didn't happen. They didn't stop him, that's for sure. So I guess you can talk the talk if you can walk the walk. So, and yeah, and oh yeah, Bama rushed for a total of 74 yards, I think. I think I looked that up. Anyway, it ain't much.
Somewhere Derrick Henry is punching the air.
I was going to say it's not
punching the air.
Not something
He's
we're
so
used
angry.
to from an Alabama team. So, Jesse, let's start with you first on here. What's your take? What is your assessment of this situation?
I said it at the top. I'm not surprised. Am I upset? Yes. Am I disappointed? Yes. This is an instance where I would have loved to be wrong. I was not impressed last season with Coach DeBoer and what I felt like was being established at Alabama. But again, first season, okay. Let's see once you start recruiting your own recruiting class where you get. A couple things. First off, I did not like how many times the camera panned over to Coach DeBoer and he looked confused, as if he was like, I don't know what's wrong. Literally everything. Pick one thing to focus on, and we could have gotten slightly better. Everything is wrong. Why are you looking as though you're like, I don't get it? Get it. Figure it out. That's quite literally your job, is to figure it out. And nobody figured it out. The team, it didn't look like they cared. I mean, to be honest, it didn't look like they were putting in max effort. It didn't look like they were even focusing on fundamental football. It was like, I don't like rain. I don't like rain. Nobody likes rain. Okay.
He said that they were doing those wet ball, soapy wet ball drills during the week.
Probably should have done a little bit more scheming during practice as opposed to drills. But
yeah.
And the other thing is, sure, FSU has a new offensive coordinator, but guess what? We've seen him before a ton.
Was he wearing a sweater vest?
He wasn't, but he was wearing the visor. The fact that it was Gus Malzahn that did that to us hurt even worse than just losing. Oh. It's because it's not like he coaches differently. He coached the same at UCF as he did at Auburn. It's the same offensive scheme. We know it. We have years and years and years of tape. We could have watched it all day long, but apparently those just got lost. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And they kept saying, and this bothered me so much on the broadcast, well, their top stopper, Tim Keenan's out. It doesn't matter. You have a top 5 recruiting class. You have a pedigree of excellence. And it seems like excellence is no longer the standard. It's the goal. And that is not going to fly at the University of Alabama in this football program, because FSU won 2 games last year. They're already halfway there now. Good for them. They had 9 transfers starting on offense, including Castellanos, who, again, everyone was like, we'll show him. Guess what? When he said there was no Nick Saban to save us, he was right. And he proved it. And it hurt really, really bad. That's not even us getting to offense. We're not even offense yet. Ryan Williams dropped 3 passes. What? I don't understand.
Some of those were catches that I didn't think were super difficult for him. I mean, for a lot of people maybe, but for him.
Ty Simpson, God bless him, but every time the camera had a close-up on him, he looked terrified. Like his eyeballs looked horrified, as if, I don't know, it was like he was seeing a whole line of Bobby Boucher coming after him. I don't know, but he looked scared. We had this momentum after the first drive. I was like, man, okay, we're here. We were not. And I hate to be that person that is like, throw it all out. But I'll tell you, so many people are calling for DeBoer's head. So many analysts and announcers have said, throw him out, which, I mean, Stephen A is one of them, so take it with a grain of salt. But the moment that the players don't look engaged and don't look like they're putting forth efforts, and that, again, excellence is no longer the standard, it's just something to hope for, that's a problem. And that's something the boosters, the AD, and the fans will not have. It sucks to be the guy after Nick Saban, but you accepted the job. And a $70 million buyout sounds terrible, but I'm pretty sure they'll come up with it.
Boosters can find $70 million, no problem.
Boosters can find it in their backyard.
Matt.
I digress.
I have to reach back to the age-old quote of, "Oh no, baby, what is you doing?"
What is you doing?
Because that was. There's a lot going on there. Listen, this looks more, Jesse, trigger warning.
I already know it because I've been thinking it since Saturday.
This looks like a circa 2003 Mike Shula Bama
Yeah.
as opposed to a 2017 Nick Saban Bama.
Only thing, it's giving Mike Shula.
It's giving Mike Shula. It's giving Mike DeBose.
Oh God.
It's giving, uh, dare I say, Butch Jones. There's just, I know it's just
He's got to come up with a few,
yes,
horrible quips first.
right. Well, he's got Drinky up at Missouri to do all that business. But listen, if I'm a Bama fan, I may be setting the house on fire right now. I would be a little concerned because Jesse made a very solid point. When the players don't look like they're worried or don't look engaged
Right.
or are not sprinting to the ball when a guy is running down the field, looking at you, cornerback, whoever that was, you could have got him. You just jog down the field. And I'm saying that as, a 40-year-old fat guy. But you get the idea. I'm not getting paid NIL money to play at the University of Alabama. So, like Jesse said, there's a lot of talking heads, Stephen Smith and Cam Newton in particular, saying maybe we need to move on from DeBoer. Maybe they need to go find the $70 million to get him out the door. But here's the problem. If you fire DeBoer, you still got to make up for the slack. Like, who's going to take over? You're going to bring Saban out of retirement? Saban's not coming out of mothballs. He's not leaving a cushy job at College Game Day to come back and take over the dumpster fire that is Bama right now. Now, I say that. He may surprise me, but I honestly don't think he'd do it, especially with the NIL era and all the other stuff that's going. But listen, something's got to happen because here's the stat that jumped off. I saw this on Twitter earlier. Yes, Twitter, not X. Sorry, Elon. DeBoer is 4-4 against teams that Bama is favored against. 4-4. Saban, granted, he had a lot more to work with and a lot longer time, only lost twice to teams that they were favored over. I don't know.
Did Saban have a lot more to work with? Like, I feel like DeBoer, the cupboard was not bare when he came in. This was
hardly.
a very good team.
It all comes down to coaching. I honestly believe that, and I think that maybe that, and this is going to sound so ridiculous coming from a Southerner, but maybe the West Coast non-SEC mentality is playing a little bit of a part here. We've seen, historically speaking, that when you get these coaches from outside the conference, they don't, with the exception of maybe Josh Heupel, you don't get a lot of success.
And we have his coordinator, his offensive coordinator, who's supposed to come in. He was bringing him with him. He's gonna set our offense right.
And this happened against a team that won two games last year. Two games. It's not a good look. It's a really bad
not
look.
Lost
it's a very poor
season
look.
opener in like 20 years. It's like
2001, something like that.
Who was the head coach in 2001? I do believe that would be Michael Shula. Actually, that's probably Franchione.
I put it on Instagram on my story, but it was a picture of it's got Nick Saban in his office and it's got Kalen DeBoer in his office. And it said the moment they made Nick Saban's office look like a Verizon store.
I saw that. I saw that tweet.
Done. And I was like, damn it, they're right.
Yeah, there's a video that I'll have to try to find again and send it to you, Jesse, where it's supposed to be Kalen DeBoer getting in his car and Saban gets in the back seat and like gives him a jump scare and like starts talking to him about all these stats and stuff like that. And DeBoer is just like cowering up there like, yes, sir. So
just for your own edification, by the way, guys, 2001, the head coach was Dennis Franchione.
Oh my God.
And that was a loss to number 17 UCLA, 17-20.
So we lost to a ranked team. Cool.
Yes. Yeah, that time you lost to a ranked team. That was also a year you went 7-5 with losses to South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and LSU.
I also want to say, as much as I'm griping about Alabama, and I could gripe about it all day long. I have all weekend. I do want to say hats off to FSU. You absolutely wanted it more than us. Your coaches outcoached ours hand over foot. And Castellanos was one of the very, very rare young men who talk smack and then back it up. And
that's rare.
Hats off to you. Be very judicious when you do that because it's not always going to work out. But he was confident in his ability. He ran all over us, and they simply wanted it more, and it looked like it. And Gus Malzahn, good God, I hate him. He hurts me so bad,
So,
so bad. But he outcoached. He outcoached.
so are you saying that to Florida State it just meant more? So,
It just meant more.
Got him.
telling you,
Hated that for us.
yeah. All right, so let's we've been here long enough. Let's go to LSU at Clemson. LSU winning this one 17-10. Jesse, only one to pick LSU, so congrats on that one.
Maybe the
This was
LSU fans will like me now.
Probably not.
this was another one of those defense dominated games. Another one where I just felt like neither quarterback really looked comfortable in this one. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those LSU able to do just enough down the stretch. Again, Nussmeier taking care of the football a little bit better than Klubnik did. But really, both quarterbacks really not being able to find a huge groove. But Matt, what were your thoughts on LSU at Clemson?
I think Nussmeier does a pretty good enough job to get it all done and taken care of, get it done and dusted. A win is a win, and to quote the great philosopher Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. And in this case, they won by a little bit more than an inch. I mean, when you come out and you blank them 14-0 in the second half, that's a pretty good. That again, football's all about adjustments. Like I said this when we were calling the game Friday night. It's like who's going to adjust in the second half. LSU made the proper adjustments. They outscored 14-0 in the second half, and then Clemson can't get anything else done. So Dabo has again to go back to his house and I don't know, cry in his pajamas and see that he's not as good at the SEC anymore.
Jesse, what were your thoughts on
what
this
kind
one?
of pajamas do you think he wears?
Oh gosh,
You think they're? I think they're purple with little orange spots. That's what I think.
orange spot.
Maybe he can take over for DeBose after DeBose goes away.
Maybe so. Oh, and you know what? I bet it's got one of those like little kid pajamas. It's got like a tail,
It's got
like a
the
tiger tail.
Jesse, you didn't have to look at me like you wanted to kill me there.
It was
a joke.
That image flashed in my brain. I was like, no.
I know that was the talk. Like, what was it? Like 6 years ago when there was talk that Saban was going to retire the first time. They're like, well, just bring over Dabo. He's got.
We
the
have a clip of this show. It's when Jack Lunam was on the show right after Georgia won, and he posed a what if, because Saban wasn't obviously retired at this point. And he said, "Who would you want?" And Jesse, without hesitation, you said Dabo Swinney.
Dabo Swinney.
Do you still feel that way today, Jesse?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Yes.
100% no. Is he an alumni? Yeah, that's cool, but that's as far as it needs to go.
Right. Well, one of the points that, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back on the DeBoer train because we're going to talk about that later, but it sort of goes with what you're just saying. Do we have anything else to talk about between the Tigers, the battle between the Tigers?
Say, the whole thing was who has the real Death Valley.
Right. Who's the real Tiger? Who has the real Death Valley?
Because I'm an SEC person, despite hating LSU. I think it's LSU. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. It's LSU. But I also want to talk about LSU's defense because in the past couple of years, they have not really had one. And we've talked about how weak it is. We've talked about it needing to just get better. And I think it got better. I think it got marginally better. They were able to stand up against Clemson. They were able to show Klubnik that he couldn't, defeat them. And this is what I think a really good showing for them. And if they can, again, capitalize on this, keep going, because they have a gauntlet of a schedule moving forward. So we'll see if they can continue to progress, get better, tune up. If Nussmeier can settle in a little bit more, really lead this team. And if he can, then I think they've got a great shot at, I can't say the West anymore because that doesn't exist, but at, potentially being a contender for the SEC championship. So if you're one of the Tiger hopefuls and faithful, you've got to be feeling really, really good. And thank God someone took care of the ACC.
Well, you were talking about
Yeah,
the
we took
streak
care
that
of them too.
Alabama had been on
Yeah,
and not losing an opener. Well, LSU had not won an opener for what, the last
exactly.
three? This
I
this
think
would have
it's
been
like
four
I think
Losing
it's
years.
like
streak.
5.
Was it four?
Yeah,
Was it five? Okay, I knew it
It
five.
was
was a
at least three or
lot.
four.
It was a lot
Like
because they always
all of
have
2020s.
a big opening game.
Right. Yeah, that's fair too. They usually start off against a good team. Now, to your point about the Death Valley, I did look it up. Clemson's Death Valley does predate LSU's. Theirs stems from the 1940s when a Presbyterian college coach dubbed it college football's Death Valley after a series of tough losses to them. LSU adopted the moniker Death Valley later after their 1959 Sugar Bowl victory over Clemson, as some fans believe they earned the title by defeating the team that already used it.
I'm not gonna lie, the amount of pettiness in that makes my heart really happy.
I will also give the caveat that that is the AI overview, so
I,
it could
I
also be
hope
completely
that's true.
false.
Dude, you know AI is 100% accurate all the time. Come on. It's like
I
Wikipedia, it's bulletproof.
uh some Death Valley pettiness, yes,
Yeah,
please.
that does kind of
That's
bring a
amazing.
whole new.
They should have a sign, and every time they play each other, the sign gets moved.
That
And
would be kind of fun.
it's right on the goal line, like right next to the field.
They
It's
could
like
even have a
Also,
tiger on it because
can
who
we say
cares?
too that most announcers, most analysts, when they're talking about Clemson, they're not like, "Ugh, Clemson at night and Death Valley is a
yeah,
real
they
tough
don't talk
place
about
to
it the same
play."
way.
No,
Mm-mm.
at
Right.
LSU, they're like, Death Valley at night is terrifying. Like everybody knows that. And again, Clemson, you can come for me, that's fine. But I feel like Baton Rouge, way scary.
Yeah.
If you're a Clemson fan, what are you doing here? Like, why
Right?
are you here?
You
Like,
don't go here.
there's an ACC podcast right over there. All right, we'll just
Well,
jog on.
Mike on the Pot of Gold last year said that it is haunted with voodoo, and that is part of it. So,
I
Yeah,
believe it. I believe it. The place is frightening. It just rises up out of the grass, and you're like, oh my God, there's a stadium here.
right,
they have a tiger.
they have a
Like
tiger.
a literal tiger, people.
Actual
Like an actual Bengal tiger just chilling next to the stadium.
because they
That
Right.
will eat your face.
Not just a mascot that looks like
No,
it's on
like an
crack.
actual flipping
Oh,
tiger.
Not as bad as the Mizzou tiger, but still pretty bad. I don't
I'm
know.
sorry. I
They're
think
both
the
pretty
Clemson
bad.
Tiger's worse.
Mm,
They're both pretty
mm. You want
bad.
to talk about a drop in drama? Never mind. I spent enough time running down Mizzou. I don't need to do that now.
All right, let's move to Virginia Tech at South Carolina. I believe this is the last game we're going to talk about. South Carolina winning this one 24-11. Jesse gets the point here. This was a close game that was broken open by Vicari Swain's 80-yard punt return for a touchdown. Words are hard, dude. And then sealed by a 64-yard touchdown pass from Lenora Sellers to Nick Harbor in the fourth quarter. So exciting ending for that one. Jesse, what were your thoughts on Virginia Tech at South Carolina?
Yeah, this is a cool one. You mentioned Harbor. He had two before Sunday, and it's weird to say Sunday. This was
Yeah.
but before Sunday, Harbor had two career catches of 40 yards and just seven career catches on throws that traveled 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So
Wow.
not only was the 63-yard score the longest play of his career, but it matched South Carolina's entire 2024 total of 60-yard completions. So that's kind of cool. And it was something that I think South Carolina needed to start off this season. Obviously, the past couple seasons, they have beaten teams that we didn't think they should beat, and they have lost to teams that we really thought they should beat. So they've been a little bit of a catch-22. We never really knew which South Carolina we were going to get. We knew that Sellers was going to start to settle in and hopefully lead this team and start to give them a more consistent identity. But I think they needed this to establish that and to let their fans know that they were serious. Now, can they continue, or are they going to be the South Carolina that we've seen the past 2 years? I'm not sure, but I think this is exciting. And I think it was really neat. Shane Beamer credited his son Hunter Beamer for dialing up that crazy play call. So
Hmm.
why not give it to the fastest guy in college football, he said. And so they did. So that was pretty neat. I think if you are a South Carolina fan, this was a great way to start the season. And I'm very, very excited to see what Lenora Sellers does this season. I think this could be a pretty good season for him.
I am excited as well, but Matt, you have a puzzled look on your face. What's going on?
I'm trying to make sure this is right. I'm looking at the app that I use for a lot of this information. Is Carolina at 10 on the last 8 poll? Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I have to.
10?
Oh,
10?
weren't they like 12 or 13
My
Were
school
they
this
that
week?
high? Okay, well, all right. I mean, kudos to them. I mean,
Yeah. So they
it'd
weren't
be like
far.
Bama and lose awfully and still finish ahead of Tennessee in the AP. But I listen. I
Don't
spent a
get
lot
Matt
of time running
started.
down the AP poll. I'm not gonna do it. Okay, Lenore Sellers, fantastic game in this one. Like 225 total yards of offense. Both running and passing. Kid's a rock star. I would be curious to see what it would look like if he was working with just a couple increments better worth of talent. I would be really wondering what that looked like. But if Beamer Ball's happy, I guess Beamer's happy. So we can move on. We know my feelings on South Carolina.
Yep, I'm
I
looking at the AP right now.
I liked them a lot better when it was Lou Holtz running it. Anyway, go ahead, Wes.
It's been a while.
That's
It has
that's
been
going way back.
it has been a hot minute. I like old
Blast from the
Lou. I don't
past.
care what anyone says. I miss him on College Game Day Final. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was good. All right, so that's all the games that we're going to talk about. Now we have a smattering of games that we're not really slated to talk about. But do you guys have anything that you want to say about any of these? Okay, Matt, you seem excited.
I would like to point out that Toledo and Kentucky is definitely, to use Funny Main's terminology, struggle win.
Yeah.
'Cause that was a struggle win.
Yeah.
Kentucky's not tracking the right way. I'm sorry. The Stoops train is running out of steam. It's not going to be pretty.
Is
Just go
my
ahead, buckle in,
Delulu
Lexington.
prediction correct?
We had to come back to the Delulu.
The Delulu, yeah, which is in the dictionary now, by the way.
Oh, I
So-
did have one other thing too. I would be curious, and if you were one of these people, please sound off in the comments. Who finished watching the Georgia Marshall game? Who watched the whole thing? You did, Wes? Okay, Wes. He's won.
Yeah, but I mean that's a
I-
given. I'm a Georgia fan. I'm going to watch it.
Man, listen, I was talking to a couple people at work, and they're like, we stopped watching during the third quarter. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you do you, but
No, yeah. I mean, if I'm going to have it, and also there's the possibility that you get a chance to see, the up and comers at that point as well.
true.
How many
So-
Georgia fans watched the Miami game, though?
Oh, yeah.
I watched the Miami game.
I watched parts of it. I was.
It was.
There's
it
no
was
hate
interesting.
watching there.
No hate watching. All right. Do we have any of the others? I don't have anything really. Most of that stuff is stuff that we knew
Florida
was going to
game was
happen.
easy.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that one-handed grab during the Florida game, right on the goal line? It's pretty impressive.
I mean,
Yeah.
Long Island got they earned that 1 mil because bless them.
Yeah. Enjoy your payday, kids. Go put it
Matt
into your
just
basketball.
totally trashed them on our show last week too.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's just I can't take a team that's named after an island seriously. I
An
just
island.
can't.
Their tennis courts are a rooftop.
I mean, I love that for them. I really do. But
I looked it up this weekend.
Their
I
basketball.
looked
and
at
their
team.
basketball court is beautiful, but it doesn't negate the fact that it's Long Island University. I just,
Yeah.
I know where it is in New York now. I looked up the campus
I
map.
just,
There you go.
I digress.
All right, so pick 'em standings. I've got 7. Jesse has 5. Matt has 2. Our next next
and
week,
we're off to a rousing start with the pick'em.
however, next week has pretty much the same number of games because we've got a lot of those smaller matchups mixed into. So lots of points there. Let's move to helmet stickers. Jesse, who are your helmet sticker recipients for the week?
The first one may surprise them. It's not in the SEC.
What?
I'm giving my first helmet sticker to Castellanos, quarterback for FSU.
Wow.
I commend somebody who can talk smack and back it up, and I commend somebody who, along with Gus Malzahn and the rest of FSU, exposed us. It was not fun. I did not enjoy it. 10 out of 10. Do not want to do it again. But I would be remiss if I did not comment on the athleticism of him. It was, if I was an FSU fan, I would have been really happy. I'm not. And then the other one I've already talked about him, Nick Harper from South Carolina.
All right. Matt, who are your helmet sticker recipients?
I got one guy and then a group of guys. So first off, Taylon Green from Arkansas. Arkansas, we didn't really talk about it, but Arkansas won 52-7. The stat line goes wild: 24 for 31 for 322 yards and 6 touchdowns. If that's not deserving of a helmet sticker, then I don't know what is. And then on my other helmet sticker is going to be, and you can call me a homer if you want to, but this is our podcast; we can do what we want. So I picked Tennessee's defensive line and their linebacker core. 5 sacks in this game. Excuse me 1 second. I have to say sack the proper way, like Mike Keith did when he was doing the broadcast. 1 moment, please. Sack! Hopefully that came through. So five sacks in the game. I think with those sacks, it was like 8 tackles for loss, 3 takeaways, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Fantastic outing for Tennessee's defense against Syracuse.
Very nice. And I would like to point out in that Arkansas game that when I picked Arkansas 56-6, you guys looked at me like I was crazy. It was 52-7. So
yeah.
Anyway,
we should know better. Almighty
not to toot
West,
my own horn there.
Thou art. We are not
no,
worthy.
No, come on.
Bow down, Jesse. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Not asking for all that. Anyway, my helmet stickers are Jackson Arnold, just over 100 yards through the air, so not super impressive, but he also had 137 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns.
Makes up for it.
And a good win for Auburn, and maybe more importantly, hope for Auburn fans at the quarterback position against what seemed like a decent Baylor team. So I think that more than anything might be what's important for Auburn. And then Blake Shapen at Mississippi State, even though he did have a pick in this game, I just think it had to feel good to come back and get a win after missing the final 8 games of last year. And then they may want to cherish every victory this year because they may be slim. So those are mine. Let's move to a controversial speed round, week 1 overreaction edition. Speed round. All right. So our first item in the speed round is Kalen DeBoer.
Wait, Wes. Hold on. Timeout. I need timeout. Is that you doing the voiceover for the speed round?
It is me.
I knew it was you. I just did. I'm an idiot. Let's move on. Go ahead, Wes. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm glad you caught that. So our item 1 for speed round is Kalen DeBoer is not the guy for Bama. What do you guys think? I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but like, what are your thoughts? It's been a much discussed topic in the past few days.
I think if anyone thought that Kalen DeBoer was going to be the guy when we first got him in, you're Delulu. Because
the universe doesn't get to do that, right?
No, you don't get to do that. You are never going to be the guy when you're the guy after the guy. Like, that's just not how it works. What Nick Saban did at Alabama, the program he built, the legacy, the dynasty he built, that's not a rinse and repeat moment. And that's not something that we're going to have, honestly, anytime soon. Did Kalen DeBoer get the keys to a kingdom and he had everything he could have possibly wanted? Absolutely. Had he ever had that before? No. Do I think he knew what to do with it? No. Do I think the guys that Nick Saban recruited were ready to be coached by someone else? No. And so it took us a while to get to Nick Saban after Bear Bryant. God, I hope it doesn't take that long again. But to have a generational coach, you're not going to have 2 in a row. So if you were someone that was like, yeah, Kalen DeBoer's the guy, then you need to reevaluate your decision making, because he ain't.
Matt?
I agree with Jesse. I think I'll take it a little bit more tempered though. Let's look at the facts here. Kalen DeBoer's come in. This is a guy that went 25-3 at Washington. Okay, he had a lot of success. He was 12-6 at Fresno State. Before that, he was 67-3 at Sioux Falls. Dude has a pedigree of winning. He's 9-5 right now at Bama. Is that great? No. Is that acceptable? I think the argument can be made, no, it's not. I think that we have to, like, there's a ton of people that said, fire him now. Don't wait. Go ahead, pull the trigger. But again, speaking on behalf of people that have gone through the coaching thing, and tried to figure it out, like, you just pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. And then at the end of the season, if we need to, if they get creamed in the Iron Bowl, and if they end up losing like 6 games, then maybe, yeah, let's then pull that trigger. But until that point, I would say just, be upset. Bama fans, you have a reason to be upset. But Jesse made a solid point. You can't, like, it's dynasties come and go. It's all cyclical. It's like one of my kids at school the other day. He was like, when was Tennessee good? I'm like, you must have not been around for most of the late 80s, early 90s, all the way up to the 2000s. Like, we were good for a really long time. You must not have been around in the 40s and 50s when we were good. You must not have been around during the 20s and 30s. Like, this stuff is cyclical. So you kind of have to be you got to kind of temper your expectations a little bit. So, yes, do you have a right to be upset? Of course you do. You're paying money. This is your team. You want them to be successful. But I'm telling you right now, if you're competitive and you're in the mix, you don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Tennessee did that with a lot of situations, and it just led to dang near 2 decades worth of frustration and awfulness. You don't want to do that.
Auburn.
In Auburn, same thing. They ran off Gus Malzahn, who had Auburn pretty much in the mix
Who can beat Bama? Clearly, wherever.
Yeah.
Look at LSU. LSU did the same thing. They ran off Les Miles, and then they did have a little bit of success with Coach O, but then they ran him off 2 years after, and now they're still trying to figure out their stuff with Brian Kelly. The thing is, I'm trying to make everybody understand, the Saban effect on college football has gotten us to the point where we're expecting national championships every time you fart. And I'm sorry, that's not how the real world works. You have to kind of just roll with it and see where you end up. In fact, there's going to be a lot of people that are probably calling for his head at the end of the season if he loses 6 games. I don't know if you do that. I think maybe you need to wait a whole other year, which is painful, frustrating, and not pleasant. But if it in the long term, because don't be knee jerk about it. In the long term, you might be better off waiting and paying the guy $50 million instead of $70 million on his buyout. Like, it's just
who would we get? Like, who?
That's the problem. Who are you going to go get?
It's always the question. Who do you get?
Gonna go get Coach Prime? He's not doing so hot at Colorado. They lost their season opener.
You gonna go get Bill Belichick and his girlfriend Jordan?
You don't want to go get Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. You want to leave them in Chapel Hill and don't talk to them.
You don't want that distraction. Just another distraction.
Speaking of the Belichick thing, real quick, I saw a TikTok, and it was somebody at the UNC game filming Belichick on the sideline talking to his girlfriend.
Yeah, during the game.
The second comment said, "Are we almost done?" And then it was like, "I'm coaching a football game."
The best was the game
Can we
day.
go
Like,
now?
someone made a sign and it said Air Jordan, and it was literally an outline of Bill and his girlfriend at the beach, where he was like propping her up and she was doing like a yoga pose like on his feet.
Oh.
And it was so cringe, but whoever made that sign, good job.
Yeah. For DeBoer, I think it's still kind of too early to tell if he's the guy for Bama or not. But I will say I agree with some of the experts who've been calling this team soft, undisciplined, and just in general a far cry from the Saban teams that we saw, even the ones that we didn't see win a national championship. There's
been a lot of speculation. Sorry, Wes, I'll get back to you in a second. There's been a lot of rumors and stuff that I saw this on Twitter, so take it with a grain of salt, that there are DoorDash orders being made late the night before the game. There's players that aren't like lights out at like 3 o'clock in the morning the night before a game. There's just a lot of undisciplined behavior that Nick Saban would not tolerate.
No, but they did have, I will say, the players apparently, I saw today that the players had a players only meeting today to get right, talk about expectations, and talk about the standard they want to set, their responsibilities as players and how they want to be better. Will that have an effect? I don't know. It's hard for me to say like who's a leader on this team. You know what I mean? Like I could have said that in seasons past, and this one I'm not totally sure. I know that they said Ty Simpson is because he's obviously been there a hot minute, but I,
Yeah, one thing that I would like to add is I'd like to also say that under Saban, no player would be able to talk smack like Castellanos did and live to tell the tale. Can you imagine if a player had done that in the Saban era? It
Oh,
would
he'd be
not have worked
crucified.
out well.
It would not be
I
good. It
mean,
would.
look at all the "We want
Mm.
Bamas" that went down. It just wasn't the thing to do. So something just doesn't feel right about it. But the fact is, Saban's not coming out of retirement, so they're going to have to either figure out that something does feel right and pay that big buyout, or make the current situation work somehow. So I think it might be more the latter for now. So
yep.
all right, item number two: Texas and Arch Manning are in trouble. Is this game one performance against Ohio State by not just Arch but Texas in general? Because we're hyping up Arch, but we've also been hyping up Texas overall as a team. Are they in trouble? What do y'all think?
I'll defer to Jesse. I'll let her go first.
I no, I think it's too soon to tell. Like I said with the rankings, what are you basing that on? Like, yes, we have one game to go on, but again, this is the first time that most of these guys are starting for Texas. They were in a really hostile environment. They were playing the reigning national champions, again, who also had a lot of guys that were new. But to say that they're in trouble at this point, I don't think Sark is worried. I think he knows exactly what they need to work on. It's obviously going to work on the fundamentals over and over again with Arch, but to me, it starts with the O line as well. And their defense looked decent. So I don't think it's trouble in Austin. Are they a number one team right now? Probably not, but that's not to say that they're not a top 25 team and that they're going to have a terrible season. Relax.
Matt?
I'm with Jesse. I think we're putting a lot of pressure on this kid. Like, everybody is all about the instant gratification right now. We just talked about it with the Bama stuff. I want to win national championships. I want a Heisman contender. I want blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just the way that humans are kind of wired now. Thank you, TikTok. That's just the way that we kind of operate.
It's a short form content, man.
It's ruining your brain. It's worse than alcohol. We had that conversation this weekend. But here's the thing, like, Arch Manning has all the tangibles. He's tall, he's got good motion. He did have a couple of issues on Saturday. But I mean, this is a kid that in relief last year threw for 9 touchdowns and only 2 picks. He almost threw for 1,000 yards last year. Again, most of that was coming in for relief after it was mop-up duty. But, like, he has the tangibles. Like, he'll get there. It's just you got to give him some time. Now, I know he's a redshirt sophomore, so this is actually technically his 3rd year in college football. But, like, why do we expect everybody to come out and immediately, be a world beater, like, the minute they get the reins on? Like, just hold your horses. Relax a little bit. Let him work it out. He has the pedigree, and again, his uncle and his other uncle are on a text. Like, he could text them. Like, he's got great coaching. Sarkisian's going to take care of him. I'm not worried about Arch. Now, they shouldn't have hyped him up to the point where everybody was. They just set the kid up for failure from day one with the amount of hype that was around. I mean, remember last year when Texas was like the number 2 or 3 team in the nation, and they're doing interviews and they're talking to Arch, but they're not talking to the guy that actually starts a quarterback. Like, they've been waiting to kind of put this kid on a pedestal. And then when he falls off the pedestal, you're like, oh, he's done. He's washed. Get him out of here. He's garbage. Give him a minute. You got to give him a second to kind of get his ducks in a row. I mean, it's just that instant gratification stuff makes me nuts in football anyway. So,
dare I say, let him cook?
I was going to say that, but I did that the other day in class, and I think I killed a kid. So I'm not doing that. Oh,
gosh.
I can't say that.
So this is probably a dangerous analogy, but Matt.
Ooh, Wes, watch yourself now.
Do you remember when The Phantom Menace came out, episode 1 for Star Wars?
I was there. I was 15.
So it got some major hate when it first came out, right?
Yes, it did. Everybody was mad about Jar Jar. They were mad about the Jedis, the midichlorians. There was so much stress.
So, interestingly enough, one explanation for that I've seen, and I tend to agree with, is that obviously it had been many years since a Star Wars movie had come out, and everyone was just so hyped and psyched out of their minds to go see this movie, to the point where it may not have mattered how awesome this movie was. In your brain, you built this up to be so amazing, nothing is ever going to live up to that hype.
Hmm.
I wonder if something like that has happened with Texas and Arch here. Obviously, they had a less than stellar performance in this first game, but I also wonder if we've hyped them so much that we've put them on a pedestal and we don't even expect them to make mistakes, which we all know is possible. They're human. So I wonder if that is coming into play here. To be fair, Ohio State, whether we as SEC fans want to admit it or not, has a pretty good defense and has had a pretty good defense for a decent while. Arch looked scared out there, I thought, to make a mistake. And I think, and Sark kind of alluded to this before the game, that he just needs to be himself. I think he sensed even then that he's just got to relax. He's putting too much on his own shoulders. I bet he's feeling a lot of pressure, not just as a highly recruited player, but obviously we've talked about it mostly because of his name. To a certain extent, I don't think that that's fair, but I will say at the same time, I'm sure he's gotten a lot of opportunities because of that name as well. So it goes both
Hmm.
ways. So I don't know. I think it's probably not the best answer, but I don't really know at this point. I would say that they are not in trouble. I said just like you said, let them cook. I think that they're going to be just fine. So so we'll see
I
more to
think you can
come.
go ahead and kiss the Heisman goodbye, though. I think that ship sailed. Unless he
Well,
comes out and starts having an absolute
it's
like nuclear year, I
right.
don't see that
He's
happening.
going to have to be on fire for most of these other and
Hmm.
big games too.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all
And
right.
Wes, and to kind of go back off your point real quick, the hype train ruins things,
Yeah.
and you see this across multiple platforms. You see it in sports, you see it in all sorts of things. Like I'm thinking of like several video games that when they were getting ready to come out, everybody and their mother was like, "This is going to be the greatest game ever. Like this is going to be a 10 out of 10." And then when it came out, everybody's like, "Oh, the graphics aren't that great. Oh, the gameplay's kind of There's issues with the story." Like, and it really tanked it because people were so their expectations were so far up here, and even though you came in under here, you're still looking at it like a failure. So
Right.
that happens in all kinds of things.
Hocus Pocus 2, Happy Gilmore 2,
I
Freakier
I I
Friday.
I did
I thought it was all
not
right.
see any of those movies.
Don't.
Yeah, except for the Uncle
Now,
John Daly was
there
pretty
are
funny.
exceptions
Uncle
to
John
that
Daly was
rule.
good.
Now, there are exceptions to that rule. I would like to, for Exhibit A for that, I would like to point out the Top Gun sequel because there was nothing wrong with that movie.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
it
The
was pretty
second
good.
Terminator, nothing wrong with that movie. Godfather 2, nothing wrong with that movie.
Fair.
All right. Well, and the sequel to week one is week two. So let's
I see what you did there.
let's see how these games go and make our predictions.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Okay. Predictions for week two. The first game that we've got is San Jose State at Texas, noon on ABC. Matt, what is your prediction for this one?
Both these teams looking for their first win of the season.
That's
That's an
right.
interesting stat. However, I think Texas is going to right the ship. I think Texas. I'd like Sarkeesian to come out guns blazing, so I like UT here, 42-10. Sorry, I said UT. I did not mean that. I
I was
meant
gonna say,
Texas. I am sorry.
man, it's like
I
Oh.
dropped
wash your
the ball
mouth
there.
out with
All
soap.
all my
My
tennis,
goodness.
all my, all my Tennessee brethren are like, what did he just do? I made a mistake, people. I'm not
Yeah,
infallible. I'm not the Pope. I can make mistakes.
we just talked about this. People, you're human. It's possible. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas here. I'd say they don't struggle against San Jose State. They right the ship. Texas 45-6. Jesse, what do you got?
Yes, relax, Texas. It's going to be okay. You'll pick up your win. I'm picking the Longhorns 35-6.
All right. Next we've got Utah State at Texas A&M, 12:45 on SEC Network. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
Utah State. Nope. Texas A&M here, 38-14.
Okay, yeah, I'm going something similar. I'm going Texas A&M 45-13. Jesse, what do you got?
Yeah, the Aggies take this one pretty easily. I'm picking Texas A&M 45 to 10.
All right, next is Austin P at Georgia, 3:30 on ESPN Plus. Matt, what's your score prediction for this one?
Listen, Austin Peay's about to get a really good payday. All right, really good payday. They can put it into other things. They're going to get paid, but they're going to have to pay the price a little bit here. I like UGA here, 56-10. Big win for the Bulldogs.
All right, yeah, that's kind of along the lines of what I had too. I'm going UGA 56-6. Jesse, what's yours?
UGA fans, if you didn't finish last week's game, I imagine you can also skip the ending of this game. I'm picking the Bulldogs 48 to 6.
All right. Next is East Tennessee State at Tennessee. That's 3:30 on ESPN Plus. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
I think the offense is going to go crazy in this one. I like Vols 56-20 here. I think they give up a couple touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going Vols big here too. I'm going UT 63-3. Jesse, what do you got?
I mean, directional school.
Right.
But I'm going to pick the Vols here as well. I think that's no surprise. 45 to 9.
Okay. All right. Kansas at 2-0 at Missouri. That's 3:30 on ESPN2. Matt, what's your prediction for Kansas at Mizzou?
Mizzou's only favored by 6 in this game. I I kind of want to pick. I kind of want to pick Kansas just for the sheer glory that would be watching Drinkwitz lose one. Again, if you're a Missouri fan, I'm sorry. You're probably not listening anyway because you probably aren't a fan of what we say about drinking most of the time. However, I'm going to stick with Mizzou here because it is a home for them. So I like Missouri 35-30 here.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, look, Kansas has beaten Fresno State and Wagner. It's not that I think Mizzou is particularly impressive, but I'm not sure Kansas has enough in the tank to knock them off at home. So, to your point, I'll stick with Mizzou here. Mizzou 28-21. Jesse?
Yeah, I'm also going to pick the Tigers here. I think it's going to be a close game, despite the fact that Kansas has only won against some schools. But I'm going to pick Mizzou 31 to 28.
All right. Next is Ole Miss at Kentucky.
Hey, we're getting into some SEC play.
I know, 3:30 on
only week 2.
ABC. Matt, what's your prediction for Ole Miss at Kentucky at Kroger Field?
Oh Lord! If this was Kroger Field at night, it'd be a different story. No, I'm just kidding. It wouldn't make a difference here. I think, therefore I am, to quote Rodan. That's a classical reference for those of you at home. Listen, I like Ole Miss here. I don't think Ole Miss is going to miss a beat. I think Kentucky scores late to make it look closer than it is, so I like Ole Miss 42-20.
Yeah, I think Kentucky struggles against Toledo at home last week are making me concerned. Plus, I thought about this. Lane Kiffin is going to be looking to avenge that embarrassing home loss to Kentucky last year.
Yes.
So
that was circled.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Ole Miss here. I'm going Ole Miss 31-17. Jesse?
Lane Train rolls through Kentucky on this one. I'm picking Ole Miss 38 to 10.
All right, next is South Florida at Florida, and that's 4:15 on SEC Network. Don't sleep on this one. Matt, what do you got?
I would love to pick South Florida, but I just don't. I don't think I can. Florida looked pretty good last week. We'll see if they can keep that momentum up. I like Florida 28-14 here.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so South Florida destroyed a hopeful Boise State 34-7 in week 1. So if you're Florida here, you can't underestimate them. Look, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying you can't underestimate this team. Alex Golesh has quietly been building South Florida into a pretty dangerous team.
That's true.
Still, I think Florida at home at the Swamp is going to be a pretty tough place to play, and we might see DJ Lagway put the team on his back at times in this one as well. So it should be a pretty exciting one, probably more exciting than maybe people think when they just see, oh, South Florida. I'm going Gators here, though, 35-21. Jesse?
Can we call this the Jorts Bowl?
The Jorts Bowl.
Is that okay? Can we say
Sure.
that? Because I feel like it's going to be an outpouring of jorts. But I agree with you. I think DJ Lagway is going to have quite a day. I don't think you can sleep on South Florida. Will they put up a couple touchdowns? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think the Gators take this one. So I'm picking UF 35-14.
All righty. Next is Arkansas State at Arkansas. That's 5 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Matt, what is your prediction for this inter-Arkansas battle?
Hey guys, do you know who the head coach at Arkansas State is?
Is it Butch?
It is. It's
Yeah.
Butch Jones, and
That's
it would
right.
be on brand for Butch Jones to get his rear end handed to him from my team from Arkansas. So I like Arkansas here. I think Arkansas wins big. I like Arkansas 42-10.
Yeah, I think Arkansas
I'm
State
still
maybe
shocked that Butch Jones is coaching ahead.
is coaching somewhere.
Because he went through the
It
Nick
just-
Saban
Just
rehabilitation
doesn't make
for
sense.
coaches.
Doesn't make sense to me.
For coaches who can't coach good and want to coach
learn
better.
to coach better.
Yeah, I'm going to say Arkansas State scores a little bit more, but I'm going to say Arkansas wins this one 44-21. Jesse, what do you got?
I agree. I think the Razorbacks do take this one. I do think Arkansas State will put up some points on them in the beginning, and then I think Arkansas will settle in. So I'm going to pick the Razorbacks 31-13.
Matt, you had something else for that one?
Yeah, that man's gone 20-31 at Arkansas.
No.
How is he still employed?
I
They
mean,
did win a bowl game last year, so maybe that made a difference. But
so he's turning the
anyway.
program around, is what it sounds like.
Hold on. 8-5 at Arkansas State. Is that really turning it around?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if his record is that bad there, but they went to a bowl game last year, that means they must be doing some kind of flip.
I mean, they've gone to a bowl game the last 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So,
All right. Next
still
is
think he's a bad coach.
I don't know that that's up for debate. So, South Carolina State at South Carolina. A lot of interstate rivalries.
So many interstates.
This one. That is 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
Yeah, Beamer continues to roll. I think they'll be fine. I think I like Carolina here 40-14.
I think I said interstate rivalries. I think matchups would be a more accurate
Yeah.
term. Yeah, I'm going South Carolina big here, 52-3. Jesse, what do you got?
I agree. I think Lenora Sellers shows out in this game, and I think the Gamecocks take this one easily. I'm going South Carolina 38-9.
All right, next is Louisiana Tech at LSU. Another one. 7:30 on ESPN Plus. Matt, what's your prediction for this one?
I seem to remember a long time ago that Louisiana Tech beat LSU. This was a really long time ago. There were some shenanigans. It was a really big win for Louisiana Tech. However, I don't see Louisiana winning this time. So I like LSU here. I'm going to say 28-6.
All right, yeah, I'm going LSU bigger here, 49-10. Jesse, what do you got?
LSU, make sure that this is not a hangover game. You got to come with the
Right.
same intensity that you did this past week. Do not underestimate your opponent. Don't trip yourselves up. I think Garrett Nussmeier starts to settle in a little bit here. I think that defense that we saw LSU put up against Clemson this past weekend still shows out. So I'm going to go with the Tigers in this one, 35-10.
All right, next is Arizona State at Mississippi State, 7:30 on ESPN2. Matt, what's your prediction here?
Arizona State's currently ranked at 12. This is one of those teams that might be sneaky good. Oh, wait, they beat Northern Arizona in week 1. I'm going to stick with ASU, but not by a lot. ASU 28-20.
Yeah, this is the second part of a home and home between these two. Last year the Bulldogs went out to Arizona State, but just barely weren't able to pull off the big win there. They lost 30-23. I would expect a similar score this time. I'm going Arizona State again, but I'm going 34-27. Jesse, what do you got?
I'm going to pick against you guys. I think the Cowbells are going to just brew up and conjure some magic. Maybe. I'm manifesting for our brethren in Starkville. I'm going to pick Mississippi State in a really, really close one, 24-21.
All right, so here's a big one that's coming up this weekend, and that is Michigan at Oklahoma. Big matchup for both of these teams. 7:30 on ABC. Matt, what is your prediction for Michigan at Oklahoma?
Oh, this is a tough one to pick. Mm, I mm, I'm gonna say Michigan,
Ooh,
and I hate to pick against the conference, but I'm gonna pick Michigan. Or Michigan, which I just wrote, which is not right. I don't know why it's in all caps.
Michigan.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm yelling. I'm going to go with Michigan here. I'm going to say 28-24 Michigan. I think it's a late touchdown that wins it for him.
Okay. I think playing at home is going to be big for this one. A lot of unknowns for both of these teams. Is Michigan beat New Mexico and Oklahoma beat Illinois State. So a lot we don't know about these teams. I like this game being in Norman for Oklahoma, and I'm excited to see what John Mateer does against a quality opponent. I'm going Sooners here, OU 27-21. Jesse?
Brady made me a mild believer. Okay. This is for you.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the Sooners in this one. I think it's going to be a close game. I think a late touchdown puts OU ahead. So I'm going Sooners 28-21. Brady, you better not have steered me wrong.
All right. Next is Ball State at Auburn. That's 7:30 on ESPNU. Matt, what's your prediction for that one?
Ball State, Auburn. I can't take any team named Ball State serious. I'm gonna pick Auburn here. I'm gonna pick Auburn 32-6.
Okay. I think similar, but I think Auburn's going to put a little bit more up on the board. I got Auburn 49-6. Jesse, what do you got?
I'm also gonna go with the Tigers in this one. I think it's gonna be an easy win for them on the plane. So I'm going Auburn 34-10.
Ooh, yeah. All right, Matt, what you got?
Point of interesting little fact, interesting little thing before we move too far, and I forget to have a chance to tell you this. Michigan and Oklahoma have only played one other time, and that was in January 1976. And
Wow.
Michigan lost that game. So fun little fact for you.
Seems
Yeah.
weird that they
I was curious as
That is
to how many
interesting
times
that-
those two had seen each other, and it's only been the one time.
Two blue bloods that have not squared off against each other very often. That's interesting. All right, so who's next? Oh, yeah, Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. That's 7:30 on ACC Network. Matt, what's your prediction there?
I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech. I feel like they're gonna be trying to bounce back a little bit from South Carolina. Man, they're taking a tour of the SEC. It's like it's on audition tape. I like Virginia Tech here. I think it's gonna be close though. I'm gonna say 20-18 is your final, with Virginia Tech winning.
Okay. Yeah, Virginia Tech played South Carolina pretty close for a lot of their game, and this one is at home for the Hokies. So I just wanted to say Hokie. So even though I like Vandy,
Ooh, that's a night game too. Ooh.
yeah, even though I like Vandy, I think I'm going to have to go Virginia Tech here. I'm going Virginia Tech 24-21. Jesse, what you got?
This is probably dumb, but I'm just gonna do it anyways, because why not? At this point, nothing matters. I'm gonna go with the Commodores on this one. I think it's gonna be a really close one, and maybe Diego Pavia pulls out something crazy. Vandy 35-34, because nothing matters.
All right. And then let's the last matchup, UL Monroe at Alabama, 7:45 on SEC Network. Matt, what is going on, my friend?
Listen,
Are you
I've
okay?
seen this show before. I don't like it.
Listen to me. You gotta listen to me. We've played this game before.
Oh,
There has been a previous game between these two teams where I do believe Bama walked in favored and walked out with an L. I'm going to pick a UL Monroe. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
I hate it here so
I'm
much.
going to say UL Monroe wins. I'm not going to say the original score. I was originally going to say 42-9, but that's a bit much. I'm going to say 21-20 UL Monroe.
Okay, but you are sticking. This is not just
no,
not so fast, my friend.
I am
just kidding.
I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to do this.
I'm speaking it into existence. Bama's going to lose this game.
The moment I realized who we were playing, I knew you were going to do this.
So if Bama loses this game, our whole conversation about Kalen DeBoer is just moot.
It's all
He's
out.
gone.
It's all out. He's out
gone.
too. He's got to be gone. He's got to be gone.
Yeah, he's
And
like
that,
on a rail after this game.
tarred and feathered.
I am going to say Bama. I have to think that they right the ship and that they probably do it in convincing fashion. I'm going Bama 42-6. Jesse, what you got?
I refuse to watch the sequel of that original.
Hey, we just talked about how the sequel sometime is better than the original. This could be a case
not
of
one of those cases. I am manifesting and I am picking Bama 31-17. Will it be perfect? No. Will there be a lot to work on? Yes. Will we win? Yes. And that's what I'm going to cling to. Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, week 1 was unpredictable. Let's see how week 2 goes. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So if you would like to contact us, please hit us up an email at pigskinsandpageantry@gmail.com. We are at Pigskins and Pageantry on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at PPSEC Podcast on X,
Twitter.
And don't forget, we are available for download on all the platforms. Pretty much everyone that you can search us on will be there. So if you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and review. We'd love 5 stars. Increase our chances of having conversations with lovely people like yourselves. So I'm excited for a lot of these matchups. There's still some that are, some of these smaller ones, but we got some big ones coming up as well. So until next time, this is Wes. Go Dogs.
Y'all, apparently 2016 makeup is back in, and we can just live in 2016 with, Nick Saban and everybody else. It'll be fine. Roll Tide.
There's an argument to be made that 2016 is where we kind of deviated into this timeline. Just throwing that out there. That being said, listen, guys, it's a great week. Tennessee's winning. UL Monroe might beat Bama. All I have to say is go Warhawks. And go Vols. Have a good one.